Welcome, everybody, to the Raad Life, the only talk radio show that takes you along with host and age explorer Rod Gantos on his continuing journey of discovery into life's challenges, opportunities, options, and all the latest and greatest things that come with getting older. The Rad Life is brought to you this week by Your Home for a Lifetime, a company dedicated to empowering you to stay safely, independently, and comfortably in your own home. And now here is your host, Rad Gantos.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Raad Life. Thanks again for putting up with us for 6 years while we've been on the air, and here we are. We're like a bad penny. We can't, you can't get rid of us. I wanted to just again acknowledge Mr. Paul Roberts and OC Talk Radio for making this possible, and again putting up with me for 6 years.
That's been the hard part. That's been the difficult part.
Oh, you love it. So.
Well, you have got a special occasion today here. This is going to pull together all sorts of different threads. The Raad Life is this fascination. We do mostly business shows. We stream live out of the University of California, Irvine's new Beal Applied Innovation Center. They built us a bigger, badder studio here. We'd been over across the South Coast Plaza for years. We do 20-some business shows, nothing like the Raad Life, because it's become a verb. If you want to know what's happening, you want to know the influencers, you want to know the threads running through Orange County, talk to Raad.
It's
his life.
A verb. Yeah, it's become a verb. I think we might actually have to start events under that name or something.
People say, well, I don't understand how he's connected to all these things, organizations, people, politicians. It's the Raad Life. He just runs into these people.
I finally found, when I was young, I think that curiosity and that ADD-ness of basically not being able to focus on one damn thing basically drove my parents nuts.
I'll bet.
Okay. And then I found out there was a word called unconventional. So it just empowered me even more, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You said, hey, would you like to do a show 6 years ago? And here we are. So, if you want to blame anybody, look in the mirror. It's
unlike any of our shows, most of them are, the HR hour, the investing hour, the something here. The Raad Life is just a random rambling through Orange County at the most incredible people doing the most amazing things. And somehow you're connected or friends or find them or whatever with all these people or work with them.
And now other fools basically are asking me to produce their shows. So I don't know what that's all,
right. Because they say, well, I want some of that. Right. You're producing shows for us, for other people.
But it has actually, I apologize for the fact that, yes, the Raad Life has now become a verb. People will tell me that all the time. Like, oh, I saw you doing that.
It's the Raad Life.
The Raad Life. So
who did you bring along? What radical group?
Actually, this is a perfect example of it's the Raad Life, right? One of the things that has always been near and dear to my heart is actually being involved with organizations. And at one point, actually, I think I had so many organizations I was involved in that I basically didn't have time to just do my job.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever it was I was
doing.
Right.
I know you were with McDonald's house and other
things.
things.
McDonald's house. I do the walk. There's another one coming up. But a couple of years ago, I kind of decided, okay, I'm getting older. I don't have the stamina. I need to be a little bit more focused. Where does my heart lie? And I always have a soft spot for, people in need, and sort of that caregiver side of me is always there. And so I can't remember exactly what. I think Dan probably Pittman is to blame, but I think he reached out to me.
He works with so many charities here locally.
With the senior community and
shout out to Dan Pittman PR, who does a PR for so many different good worthy
shout out to Dan,
charities.
Right? And he said, hey, would you consider wanting to be on this board? So I was invited. I went and I visited, and it really was. I was very impressed. It's an organization with a lot of lineage and history and great people. And I said yes, just like I did to your show 6 years ago. So I wanted to bring back Project Independence, which is the organization we're talking about, and it's been a rough year for everybody out there this last year. And nonprofits have had to, even before COVID, and Deborah, maybe you can talk about this in a minute, but before COVID, it was already challenging. Like the landscape was already changing, and then here comes COVID, and we really had to get agile and resilient. And your mission drives everything, and being able to it's challenging under normal circumstances, and here we are, thriving, surviving, coming out of this into the next normal. And so I wanted to bring these amazing people onto the show so that we can share some of those experiences, some of those best practices, what has worked, what hasn't worked from this last year. Because I have a feeling that as we come out of this, we may lose the opportunity to actually document this stuff. We'll be so eager to go move on to the next thing that I think there are going to be some lessons that we are going to lose. And that's why on occasion we've been trying to do these sort of COVID related shows on the Raad Life, because it's up there forever. And I think there's some really salient lessons to be learned that's applicable to everybody. So without further ado, lady and gent, welcome to the show.
We'll start with the lady first. Who's the lady on the bottom right on our screen here?
Deb, say hello.
Hi, Mubarak Kareem.
Oh, Ramadan Kareem to you too.
Oh, Ramadan. We're doing Ramadan today. Okay.
Ramadan Kareem to everybody, by the way. Yes. My Greek Orthodox and Christian and Catholic sides wish you a good Ramadan. Right? But yes, it started, I believe, yesterday or the day before. Deb, do you know? I think it was like
day before.
Days before. So everybody's fasting. They're not watching the Raad Life. They have a reason for it now. So they're fasting from the Raad Life.
So who the heck is Deborah here? She didn't identify herself.
Deborah is our illustrious leader at Project Independence. So Deborah, it's really great to have you on the show again.
Well, thank you. It's a privilege to be here. I wanted to let you know Dan Pittman's in the waiting room on the Zoom call.
There you go. All right. Hey, can we just give? I know Todd's going to go into this too, but give us the quick 5 minute.
Give a bit of a little background about
why it is, what it is, who it is, what you do, when it started, all that. Give it, because I don't think most people even know you guys exist. I'm sorry to say. I think it's still.
Although that we've been around for a number of years.
Yeah, 43 years, and you know, and that's really a part of who we are as support people for people with developmental disabilities. We have made it our point to not be the focus, to have the lens pointed at the people we support, because we want to erase those boundaries that come up between the people we support and the rest of the community, because we are the community, just like every other marginalized group. We want to erase those boundaries. And one of the stories Bobby, a friend of both of ours, used to tell is coming up, you know, his family didn't necessarily have a dream for him. And unlike his brothers and sisters or you and I, we all think of our families and our children and our nephews and nieces, and we talk about how important it is for what they are going to have an opportunity to do. Not necessarily what you decide when you're 12 is what you're going to be. But we have dreams, and what we wanted to do is to be able to weave those dreams into reality for the people we serve. So like Bobby worked for the Marriott for 40 years, and his extended family included all of his co-workers and the customers and the people that would come in and out, and everybody like us fell in love with Bobby. So not only was he on our board of directors for so years, but he had such a rich life. And that richness is what we want to bring to each of the people we serve.
So let me just interrupt for 1 second here and point out for those that aren't totally getting it. You take people with mental disabilities, people who, I'm sorry to say, I grew up in the era of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you know, where people were institutionalized, were put somewhere, and there was no life after that. They were just taken care of. And then when those horrible places were shut down, we just opened the doors and said, figure it out. And these people, families and whatnot, had to find a way to take care of these people, because there wasn't any assumption that they could have an independent life on their own, a dream of their own. And along comes Project Independence and says, no, we're going to let you, as much as we can, support you to live alone, to be independent, to have a job, to have a family, to have a life, right?
Right.
To have opportunity to build that richness. And people with developmental disabilities, it's a diagnosis that occurs to any impairment before the age of 18. And the federal definition is 21. but in California, any impairment before the age of 18 that prevents you from doing 5 major facets of your life. And so we serve hundreds of people here in Orange County living on their own. We have job coaches that help people at their work. So we're in the background. And that's why you don't hear of us, is because we're in the background. We don't want to be in the foreground. We help people with their neighbors.
So bring Todd in, and Todd, we met, stumbled into our studio one day and started weaving this story of what this organization does and how long it's done it. Talk about the community you serve and what do you do, because this is a radically different view. Most people thought people with mental disabilities were just there to be taken care of or institutionalized or looked after, not to be encouraged to find their own way in the world here. And that's what you guys do. Talk about that, Todd, how you got into it.
Thank you, Paul. This is Todd Eckert. I'm also with Project Independence as the Director of Development. Yeah, I will say I get to be around here. This is it's beyond an organization. It's a family, and both our clients as well as our staff. I mean, we are just a broad family with the staff alone measures its time here in decades. So I'm a newcomer, being in my 6th year, and as a newcomer, I will say, I was astounded that when you come in, it's Paul. It's kind of you don't realize how antiquated your perspective can be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I came in thinking, okay, so this is where we talk down and we treat everybody as if it's a nurse, and it's absolutely inaccurate. It's a sense
they're
of,
slow. They don't understand. They can't comprehend. Right.
It's an issue of labels, really, honestly. You know, language means something, and I think the terminology that we use really pre-biases a lot of stuff. When you basically talk about disability versus different ability, I mean, look at that nuance of difference, right? But it makes a world of difference in how you basically deal with something. You know, whether it's I'm saddled with the difficulty of dealing with a handicapped bathroom installed in my job, or, you know, like somebody that has a different ability, right? It's fascinating how language is so meaningful, but we define things as a disability versus looking at it as being different able. And I think what this organization does, Todd, you correct me if I'm wrong, is that we basically try to, at the very least for the people that we serve, provide that normalcy. Like say, look, we see what you have to offer. We see what you bring to the table, and we have as much value for that as anybody else that's.
Well, and I'm going to let Debbie speak to this, but we have been, we have always functioned from at Project Independence. We have functioned from the inclusive model, which is not, rather than bringing, nothing's wrong with it when it's necessary, bringing to site and called what we call sheltered workshops. We're in the inclusive model where we are bringing our folks into the bloodstream of the community, because it unveils that sense of mystery.
Yeah, they're not locked away and out of in the shadows anymore.
And it's
Todd, take a minute and actually share maybe with the audience how, like, some of our corporate partners, some of the people that we have basically had the privilege and the support from to actually make our mission possible. I think people don't realize that we have if you will, support from a lot of people in the community.
One of our services is supported employment. And again, Debbie, jump in here because I will step right into inaccuracies, I'm sure. But we have 134 people. Our numbers are all skewed because of the pandemic, but
right.
We have over 130 people in the community working jobs. I mean, dare I say legitimate jobs at Home Depot and Target and pavilions, and we have 66 different community employers, organizations, government agencies, and stores, retailers, all sorts of organizations.
And what do they do? What jobs do they perform in these businesses?
It's as Deb talked about, Bobby Spitzberg, who was the 40 plus years at Marriott, international employee in 1999, and he did everything. And he was, like all of our clients who are employees, ecstatic to be there. I mean, they're the dream employees. They're so happy to be there. They're so happy to have a sense of independence and belonging. And that's a reciprocal benefit. The teams that are there, uh, feel the benefits too.
So can I be blunt for a moment? Because I got you guys to be blunt when you were on before. And I said, if I'm an employer at Trader Joe's, I've got a need for people to be baggers, for example, and I turn over their kid jobs. I can't keep them long. Nobody's excited to be there. It's minimum wage. Nobody wants to do this sort of repetitive work. And then in come your clients, the people with mental disabilities, who are thrilled to perform these jobs because otherwise they sit at home and do nothing. And they have no sense of self-worth and no interaction with anybody. And so they come in and I said, you had somebody from Trader Joe's come on and talk about this. And I said, come on, be honest. Weren't you afraid to employ this group of people? Let's be real. And he said, well, maybe a little bit. How are people going to react to them? How are the other employees going to react to them? Are
like
they
any
really going to
unknown that you deal with?
Yeah.
The
Are they going to be
reaction
able
is
to do the job at all here? And instead, it's yes, yes, yes. Not only can they do the job with the help and the training and the job coaches, you stand behind them, but they show up and they're thrilled to do the job, or at the hotel make the beds, or do the what we would think of as menial, basic sort of stuff that we can't. And they all said we can't get people to do this stuff, and how do we get more? This is the best thing ever.
Debbie, and Todd, we still have people that are working and helping with senior services, right?
Yes, we do. The Meals on Wheels.
Meals on Wheels. I mean, so some of the clients that we have, some of them are instrumental in making some of these services, really happen, because somebody's got to do this stuff, and it has a direct positive impact on a lot of people that are, in this case, shut-ins maybe, that really need that support.
So
well, in a point I want to make too is some of the people we support can do very complex jobs.
Yeah.
And it's just like all of us. We're so uniquely individual that the people we serve run the gamut of all of us. And so with the
I'm challenged every morning before I have my coffee. I mean, it's like it really is definition. It really is. I'm so convinced that the language we use so pre-biases a situation that really we got to almost deprogram ourselves to just see what the value that the person has in this case
exactly
that they bring to the table.
Why are we so limiting? Why do we assume because people have disabilities, mental disabilities, that limits them to doing nothing?
Conventional thinking, Paul. That's what it is.
They can't live on their own. They can't be independent. They can't hold a job. They can't get married. They can't have families. They can't have friends. All they can do is be taken care of.
Exactly. And as we learn to listen and pay attention to what people bring to the table and focus on those things, then we can set up the supports around some of the soft skills that they may be lacking. And right now I'm talking specifically about people with autism. Mm-hmm. Some people with autism have a great propensity for detail and focus.
Yeah,
and
numbers.
The gamut. And so if we can provide the support for the soft skills and really do the coworker training and the support for the management and allow people to address their deficits, whatever they may be, then they can be hugely successful in a myriad of different.
But you're talking about a radically different proposal than society makes, which is people with disabilities, all disabilities, particularly mental disabilities, people with autism, people with Down syndrome, people with other sorts of mental incapacities or whatever you want to categorize them as. From the time they're in school, they're set up in special education. They're not mainstreamed. They're removed from the main body of students. They're removed from the main society, and to protect them, to help them, so they won't be teased and bullied and whatever. And they need extra help.
We do the same thing to seniors. Honestly,
yes,
let's just think about this. Okay, let's just be honest, right? When somebody gets old, we do the same thing to them. We marginalize them. We compartmentalize them. We take them out of the realm of them basically have something productive to offer, right? And I'm setting the stage because we're going to talk about a little bit of encore career here situation, but I mean, I think that really is the conventional thinking, and then that's the thing, is that conventional thinking, this is how it outlines, and we don't live in a conventional thinking mindset at Project Independence. If anything, and I want to pivot to this, right? I want to change the focus a little bit. The last year, should have taught everybody that conventional thinking is limited, that we basically sometimes don't have we can't afford the opportunity of conventional thinking, because that's just not even an option. Like here we are, March 2020, hunky-dory, first quarter, really great. Everybody's is thinking, oh, we're just having an awesome bounce back here in the economy. Everything's going to happen. And
Boom.
I don't know, you call it the universe, call it whatever you want to call it. Basically, say, yeah, you know, you guys are due for a correction.
Big one.
And here comes COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Here comes COVID. And all of a sudden, all that conventional thinking, throw it out of the window. Right? For immediate and, to be honest, long term. This has been going on long enough. We know there's no going back to the old normal. There is not even a new normal. It's the next normal. It's what do we do now? What do we evolve, and how do we basically
There's
evolve?
something next, and that's what we're going to call normal. I want to hear
Right,
how
so
Deborah got into the...
Before we go there,
Oh, yeah.
I would like to hear from Deborah and Todd about how Project Independence, which for anybody who's listening so far, you realize that our job, our task is done from a position of love and care and giving and support, but it's also not an easy job. Like it's a challenging mission to maintain and be sustainable. And so here comes this layer of additional challenge called COVID. And what did the organization have to do? What did we have to do to pivot? And what was some of the impact on the people that we support?
Yeah, were they laid off at the hotels and the restaurants and their jobs?
A lot. A number of the people we serve were laid off. A number of people we serve, because of their vulnerable health situations, volunteered to step back and to self-isolate because of their worry of either getting it themselves, and they're vulnerable. But a lot of the people we support that are not in independent living or supported living live with very elderly parents who they did not want to bring a virus home.
That's what happened with me, Deborah. I had to
Rod
basically
and I,
sequester because of my dad. Yeah.
Yeah, same with me. And so this pivot in most of our services was around, well, some of the things was essential services. Last February, we started writing up letters. The staff person is an essential service provider when we were having quarantines and really more of a lockdown at the beginning. And then, then our day programs that operate more, 8 to 3, 5 days a week, shut down completely, and we went all digital. And this, we didn't know how to do any of this. We're trying to get,
And does your population know how to do it? Do your clients know how to go on digitally?
No. And their families and people, and we realized the great digital divide. And that's something that we're going to have to continue to address, because there is so much inequity around who has the ability to get online and what it means when you can't.
Absolutely.
And that spreads out from our community to all marginalized communities, as we're seeing, just trying to get the darn vaccine.
Look at what happened with kids that are now being educated, learning at school, at home, right? I mean, all of a sudden, and it's funny because up till that point in time, bandwidth and internet signal and all of that stuff and hotspots, whatever, was a amenity. It was a sort of a nicety,
a luxury. And
all of a sudden, well, I wouldn't go that far. It was a nicety. And if you didn't have it, oh well, or if you had a lower rate, or negotiated a smaller bandwidth or whatever, and all of a sudden it became a necessity. I mean, it became almost like a, like food, shelter, water, internet signal. Right. I mean, Maslow's hierarchy of needs all of a sudden had like a technical component to it. Right.
Right. Exactly.
It was fascinating.
And I think it's just.
Well, go ahead, Todd.
Let Todd jump in.
I think you. It's important to point out that the people we serve are prone to isolation already.
Yeah.
So you throw something in where we're feeling isolated, it borders on being a death sentence. I mean, I don't want to be dramatic, but it is, and huge kudos, I carry a bias, but huge kudos to Project Independence and Debbie at the helm, is there's a reason we've been around for 44 years, is that we're nimble and we have gone through a lot of stuff. Nothing maybe quite as crazy as this, but as Deb said, we had to remachine quickly because, again, our population is already at risk on many, many levels. And our staff just rose to the occasion. And Paul, you through your wife get to experience it, first or second.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a couple of
We're
minutes.
going to have her call in.
Nimble.
Well, Todd, I think, Debbie, too, I think I don't think I'm exaggerating when I think that organizations like Project Independence during COVID were really first responders. I mean, we were like essential workers.
Yeah.
Honestly, right? And again, very kind of modest and not really looking for that exposure. But really, I think there's going to be a lot of unsung heroes that come out of this.
Well, to the state's credit, they did dub us essential workers, and they rushed us into the back. All that. They just said, no, we know that we have to keep this spigot open.
Well, I'll tell you, I think what you guys did on the organizational level during the challenges of COVID, it really is real heroism. Honestly, like I know neither one of you guys will ever claim that or even basically feel maybe comfortable with me saying it, but I think it needs to be said. Organizations that have figured out a way. I mean, I'm saying Project Independence. I'm talking about AgeWell. People that basically reinvented and were agile and nimble. I mean, you don't usually think about nonprofits as being nimble. You don't look at, we had to be nimble. We had to pivot. We had to reinvent the wheel. And to be honest, it may prove to be actually a benefit that we came out of this the way we come out of it. So I want to talk a little bit about let's just call it what it is. Let's talk about a failure. Let's talk about something that happened that just we tried and didn't work. And then let's talk about something that you can think back, going back this whole year, that you can share as saying, that was an awesome experience. Like we were forced, we were challenged, we rose to the occasion.
And you're going to continue to do that even when COVID passes here.
That we will continue to do post-COVID. Who wants to take that on?
Let's start with the bad. What didn't work? What
didn't
blew
work?
up?
We tried so many things and finagled so many times. The things that didn't work were we could no longer transport people. And before, we would use our cars and we would go pick someone up and take them to their job, or we would take them to grocery shopping. And so the things that we did at that point was say, okay, we're not putting two people in the car together that are not in the same pod. And so how are we going to do that? And so initially we just didn't take people grocery shopping. We did their grocery shopping and then we would leave it on their front porch and wash everything down. And then as we moved into people getting vaccinated, we were able to look back and rethink some of those things and realize, it was very isolating. We set up all of these Zoom opportunities for people, but like you said, Paul, not everybody had the wherewithal to learn what it took to get it done and to get on. Well, I had trouble getting on this morning.
I've had trouble getting our next guest on here, and I don't want to lose the opportunity to have her on, because in 10 years of me doing OC Talk Radio and doing dozens of shows a month here, I've never had my wife, Janet Nealon, actually on any of these shows, and now here she is.
Another first for the Raad Life.
Another first.
Wow.
Jan Nealon, welcome to OC Talk Radio and the Raad Life.
Thank you so much. I appreciate having me on finally.
Finally, she's been trying to get on. I wouldn't let her on.
The truth comes out. The truth comes out now, Paul. Okay.
That's the truth.
Remind her to behave because Debbie's on this call.
Oh, no. I'll try.
Jan, welcome. It's so good to hear your voice.
Really good to have you on. Yeah.
So let me set the stage and see if I can bridge into this crazy
So
another layer.
Why is your wife on my show?
Exactly. So A year ago, we're of people of a certain age. We're in our, mid to late 60s here. We're in that age when we're told more and more, we don't need you anymore. You're just supposed to retire. Lucky us, though, we're going to live to be 90. So what are we supposed to do for the next 20 or 30 years? Make a little money, maybe? How are we going to do this? And what do we do to fulfill ourselves, to have some purpose, some passion? So
Set up a radio station, I think.
Set up a radio
somebody did.
station was for me. Yeah, exactly. And Jan Nealon was a branch manager at U.S. Bank for years, and then she was into other areas of banking. You were an operations specialist and oversaw different branches. And along come right before COVID, U.S. Bank says, we're going to wipe out all these positions. You're all gone. And Jan, that's no problem. You're just going to retire, right?
Okay,
Oh, heck yeah.
Jan, take it away, because otherwise Paul, as you know, will
Yeah.
tell the whole story himself.
Oh,
Well,
she
yes,
heard that.
actually, I worked for U.S. Bank for 23 years, and they gave me and a group that I worked with, we were like mini auditors for the bank, and had been for many, many years. They gave us a 7-day notice that we no longer had a job.
7
US
days,
Bank.
yeah, after 30 years or whatever. Yeah, 20-some years.
Right.
Yeah.
So they gave us a severance package, and of course they planned on, helping us and everything. Or we could apply for a new job. Of course, there were no jobs that we were accepted for because that job was eliminated, and they already had enough branch managers. So let's just say that was the way it ended. Very shockingly and very unkindly, I think, to all of us. There was about 40 of us in my group.
And now you all had to discover, those of you in your 60s, that nobody was interested in hiring you for a new job. You're just
No.
supposed to go have fun and quit, right?
Right, exactly. It was probably one of the hardest things I think I've ever gone through in my life. Just being told you no longer have a job. With us.
Just like your clients in Project Independence, you're told you have no value anymore. There's no place for you at the table in the workforce anymore here. Just go away and figure out something here. So along comes Todd on one of the shows here, and he's complaining to me afterwards. It's
I
hard
think
to.
it wasn't it a Raad Life show?
It was your show, and he's complaining afterwards, saying, "Gosh, it's hard to get this job because obviously they don't pay a lot." And obviously you don't have benefits and other sorts of things.
He was telling us he was looking for people.
And how do we get them? They're mostly young people. It's their first job, and they don't last and everything. And I said, you're thinking about it wrong, buddy. You should be thinking about this as your last job in your career, the next stage, where you've already got some retirement, you've already got some benefits, but you're not ready to quit. You may not make a lot, but you make a lot of difference. And his eyes lit up, and he said, do you know anybody? I said, I just happen to know one. I know one that you might talk to.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Roberts, the original Irish salesman, right there.
That's right. And I went home and told Jen, she's like, I don't know. And really? And I don't understand anything about that. What do I know about this? And I said, well, you can sit home like you've been doing for 6 months and cleaning the house every day, and then, wondering what you're going to do.
Well, Jen, I don't get an opportunity to ask you this question. And especially
Don't ask.
put
Don't
Paul
answer.
on the spot here, but I'm going to ask it because when I remember when I first met Paul, he told me this, I don't know, song and dance about the fact that, he basically was out of work and he was basically sitting at home. And
How I
your
created
skin.
this station.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Yeah.
And he was getting under your skin. And basically you were like, you got to go do something because this is like ridiculous. Is there truth to that story, or is he just exaggerating as usual?
Well, Paul exaggerates a lot.
No.
I'm Irish. That's just called, being Irish. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was probably one of the most difficult times because all of a sudden you're worth nothing. Nobody wants you. I applied for jobs with banks. It was always, why would you want to come here after all these years? And basically no one wanted to hire someone I was 69 years old at the time. It was like that. And, our generation, 69 isn't old anymore.
No.
So it was like, what am I going to do? It was very depressing. And so I thought when Paul and first talked to Todd, I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it. I love people. I always love people. That's why it was in banking, because I could sit and talk to people all day long. And maybe there's a difference, but I found out because I've been with PI for a year and 2 months now. And I love the people that are here. They make me feel like I'm part of their family.
Of course.
Yes, and I'm here with one of my clients, and he's just going through some physical therapy.
Put him on if you get a chance. So you're dealing with Andrew, one of the people they've assigned, and you do what for him? What do you do every day when you go over? You work like 3 or 4 days a week. What do you do for Andrew when you go over and see him and your other clients?
We do laundry. We clean his apartment. We go food shopping together. We did COVID shot yesterday, and today we're doing physical therapy. So however they need my help, I offer to my boss, Frank, tell me what you want me to do. Give me more time and more time. And I've been working probably like 30 hours a week now on my 3 days. But yes, they're wonderful people, and they need to be felt loved just like the rest of us.
So let me tell you, let me tell two. I just want to tell 2 stories before, and then you can ask your question. This example is everything. The other day, one of the clients, Sandra, because Jan tells her about her grandkids, we tell everybody about our grandkids. She buys 2 little toys for our grandkids, a little teddy bear and something else. She says, "Here, Jan, take this home for your grandkids." And I'm like, oh my God, she's thinking of us and our grandchildren here. Somebody else gave us, Jan, something, some little present or something here. They're so grateful, and they see her as family, not just as a nurse or an orderly or a coach or whatever.
I guess what I was going to say is it's sort of appropriate, ironic, just the right thing that, here's Jan basically feeling devalued
right
after 30 years of work and basically finding a refreshed purpose.
Yes.
In basically serving others that have also basically societally been looked at as devalued, and finding a vehicle like Project Independence to basically rechannel that seasoning that she already has. I mean, people's skills are people's skills, right? So you're bringing things that you already do, but you're repositioning them for the service of in a different way that you've done. And I think even after 30 years, as much as you love your job, I think finding a fresh approach to bring your skills to bear for a positive outcome in itself is actually very rewarding. And so I think that's really a perfect fit. Before we run out of time though, guys, and this is sort of related also with Jen, is I want to have you guys talk about like, what is some of the support that we need from our community, both for jobs, for our clients. Affordable housing is a big conversation, and Orange County affordable housing, I had a conversation yesterday. People I think don't understand that like a couple, a family, like 2 working couples that make like $150,000 or $140,000 a year still qualify for assistance. I mean, Orange County is an insane. There's a study that came out that said standard of living or cost of living in Orange County is higher than 91%. Like it's in the 91 percentile for the country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Like that. Like 91% of the country is less than our standard of living in Orange County. And so affordable housing. What do we need from the community, Todd? Debbie. What do we need for our clients? What jobs do we have? Or
can I ask Jan
a
first?
little bit more about that, because I don't want to miss the time frame and not benefit by telling people how they could help.
Well, I just want to ask Jan first because she's got to go. She's actually with one of your clients. She's got to take him somewhere right now here.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think what's your takeaway? What do you tell people about this? What does Project Independence mean to you, and what does it need?
What's been your experience? Yeah.
I've been here 20 years.
Yeah. Andrew just said he's been with Project Independence for 20 years. I think the most important thing I've learned is that they have so much to give back to us. And we think of them differently sometimes, and that's not how I think the world should be or is, but it is. So I think I've learned to stick up for them a lot, and don't pass me off. Don't pass us off because we're doing something a little different. I just think that goes so much to the heart of who I am, first of all, and second of all, who they are too. Because
like I said, it's a perfect fit. I mean, it's really a beautiful thing to see something like this come out of. You
wouldn't know that Jan wouldn't tell you, but she's 5'2", I'm 6'4", and she's a little fireball, and she's blonde, And she gets ahead of herself and starts stumbling over words, and everybody in her banking always took her for granted. Oh, you're just the dumb blonde. You know, they put her in a corner here, and she's like, wait a minute, I got a lot more than you think I
would
can
like,
here.
if it's okay, and if he feels comfortable, I would love to get a direct. I mean, 20 years of being involved with Project Independence as a client, I'd love to hear what Project Independence
Yeah.
means to him.
Let's hand the phone over to Andrew. Can you have him say hi to
Let's
us?
hear from Andrew if he's okay with it.
Well, yeah, you know, want to talk to Andrew for a minute? Want to just say how long you've been with Project Independence?
20 years.
And who's your best friend?
Frank.
Frank. That's,
I know Frank 20 years.
yeah. So we're just sorry, guys, but we're just heading out. I hope that.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Andrew.
Jan. Thank you for coming on.
Thank
Love
you.
that.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
So,
Okay.
Todd,
I got it.
circling back to what I was asking, like what support do we need from our community, both for like jobs and our clients? I mean, we're coming out of this like into the next normal, like we were saying. So what do we need?
Well, and Deb, step in after this. We have actually we are very lucky, and the people we're honored to serve are very lucky to be in the state of California, because they understand it is an essential service that needs to be provided, and these people need to be cared for and included.
Right.
That's the key.
But with that said, governments change and funding waivers, and we need to keep us in the forefront and in the perspective of our community leaders, our congressmen, and everybody in between. And we just need our community to just let their congressmen know that this is funding that must continue and must be increased. You touched upon it. You try to hire somebody at the rates we're able to pay,
Yeah.
and have them live in Orange County or not commute 2 hours, it's virtually impossible. And so that's been very difficult. So in fact, I kind of was butting heads in a friendly way with a congressman I won't mention, but that I said, you are budgeting, you are legislating one way and you are budgeting another. And so you have to bring that into alignment. This is obviously a priority, but the budget has to follow suit. And then also, and I'll plug this and hand it over to you, Debbie. We need just community support. As people realize this is not just a liability. Our folks are assets. You heard Andrew. He's
Right.
ecstatic. There's a reciprocal benefit. Look at Jan is having a blast working with him. She has purpose. He has purpose. He has a life of independence.
Todd, before you hand it over to Debbie, or maybe Debbie can take this, let's talk about the A2A program. And, what are some of the opportunities companies may have?
Real quickly, we're so excited to be reintroducing it, because we kind of had to put the in-person stuff, of course, on hold for a year, but we're going to do some soft events and some Zoom events. But this is a brilliant place for the community to step up and underwrite some of our events. They can come in and cleanly sponsor it, and we'll let them pick an event. We do everything from indoor skydiving with our folks to
What? Indoor
That's just
skydiving.
adventure, yeah.
bowling and kayaking, and we just put one on that we're going to have an Aloha Hawaiian Zoom brunch, and so we're going to prepare all these bags that we'll find an underwriter for. We'll prepare all these Aloha themed bags, and the staff will deliver them. We'll have this wonderful Zoom Aloha, and then we're also looking for an underwriter we're reintroducing. We have a very gracious community family foundation that underwrites A2A, a lot of the program, and they provide us a Duffy once a month to do
That little electric boat that goes through the harbor,
Yes.
those little
Yes.
boats.
Tell them what A2A stands for.
Access to Adventure. Thank you. The acronyms will kill us. So, Access to Adventure, Project Independence on the Water is being reintroduced starting May 3rd, and this is a project. It's where we are provided a Duffy, and we set up a picnic up at the Bahia Yacht Club, and we pile a handful of our clients and some volunteers to help, and we go around Balboa Island and land at Bahia Yacht Club for a lunch, and then a quick cruise home. And so it is, our clients are ecstatic about having this come back. This is going to be, we're very delicate and we have to play to the safety of staff and clients, but
Sure.
this is a brilliant way for the community to step up and say, oh my gosh, this
a
is
very fun involvement for community and
Very,
corporate
very
companies to
fun.
basically evolve.
Not just sending them.
Debbie, do we have any like needs as far as from the organizational side that we're looking for people to help with specific functions or anything?
You got a mic. You got a couple minutes. Make your plea. What do we need?
Okay, well, we have our Walk for Independence is scheduled now for October 2nd. So we're looking for volunteers and sponsors and people to come out and set up their tables. But as we've back to our digital divide, we are in great need of support for iPads, hotspot equipment. We would love to get some, it's expensive, and we have gotten it out to a lot of our at most need people. But now we need to really expand that so everybody has access to the internet. And it's one of our big focuses for the next year is to make sure everybody has some type of tablet that they can communicate on and reach out and be a part of the bigger online community. So those two things are our big things. The walk, October 2nd, mark your calendar, and contact Todd.
And it's going to be, looks
help
like
with our iPads.
And that will be in person this year. We just decided that will be in person this year. Cross our fingers. Last year we had to put it as a Facebook Live event.
Right.
But, we're hoping we'll play to safety. But
So here's a question that just came in on social media. So how many people do you serve? Where does the funding come from? And somebody else asked, how many more are not being served because there isn't enough funding? You don't
Good
have.
question.
Yeah.
We serve about 650 people here in Orange County. There are 18,000 people with developmental disabilities living in Orange County. We forget that Orange County is bigger than 7 states put together.
Yeah, right.
And we're a very dense population. And so we get referrals for people we cannot serve all of the time, simply because we're looking for those great staff.
So where does the money for all this come from?
www.proindependence.org, and we get our funding. We get rates that are based on in the 1990 rates to serve people. So a lot of our support comes from the community as well.
But so if I understand, the state pays you an amount per client to do this.
Yes,
but it's based on outdated
numbers.
rates.
Yeah,
right.
Right. Back when what minimum wage was $7.50.
Oh.
Yeah, to Debbie, I think mentioned it. Anybody who's interested, please, you can find out more about the organization at proindependence.org, and there's always something that you could do to help. But obviously, we have some immediate needs. You always can contact us and find out more about what currently is going on. The events that were mentioned are really fun. The walk's really fun. The Duffy thing is a blast. So definitely a lot of opportunities for people to get involved. This is an organization that isn't just starting. It's been around for a long time. There's a lot of goodwill and credibility in the community. So really a good partner to partner up with.
And when you say partners, so do you need, I can think of 4 or 5. So do you need money? In addition to the state, do you accept outside donations? People can donate to this if they want to support the cause.
Right, we're a nonprofit.
All right. The second is, can they volunteer in any way, shape, or form? Can they help you do any of this stuff, running these events or anything else? Or do you need volunteers?
We look for volunteers to help us put together the events. We've had people come in the past and set up the events and run them and bring all of their friends to make sure everybody's involved. We can also use people that just want to come in and help us with going through the storage bin. We have the Costa Mesa Goat Hill Lions Club is probably going to help us with our storage issue because it's a big dirty job.
And then how about staff? I mean, are you looking for more Jans of the world, people who recently retired?
We could use 30 Jans. we want to clone Jan.
Yeah, right. So there, I just want to make that
Yeah.
point that this could be a whole new, like you said, a marriage between a community of
There's a
people.
potential for employment and recruitment. Absolutely.
Understand, please, we have to reiterate this. Understand, until we get 30 more Jans, we despise wait lists. When we get a referral for somebody who needs services and we have to put them on a wait list, it kills them.
I'll bet.
And so
Because
Well, right. I mean, that's a person that's being denied
Yes.
an independent lifestyle, a quality of life.
A contribution.
If we had those resources, those bodies that could help, we would be able to impact so positively yet another person that is in need. And the need, I think, in all things like this, is going to always outpace the resources. That's just the unfortunate reality of the world, right? But this is a great organization to be involved with. I think as we come out of COVID and being sequestered and, realizing that we love our families to death, but we really need some space and something that we can call our own independently, right? Is that I think we are really looking for opportunities like this. So I keep saying this. It's almost like a broken record at this point for me. There is no reward that exactly matches the sense and gratification you get from volunteering or working with a nonprofit. It's just a different layer of feel good and reward that no amount of money that you're getting paid on a paycheck equates. It's different. It's so different. And anybody who has not tried that, find a great organization near you, find something that's close, near and dear to your heart that you can relate to, and basically make a positive impact. Project Independence is right there. Look into it. proindependence.org. Find out more. Everybody there is so approachable, accessible. Todd too, and
even Todd's approachable.
even Todd, yes, Todd, especially Todd.
He looks a little grumpy today. Here.
No, he's just very effective. I'll put it that way. Todd is very effective. So, and we love him for it, man. The personalities that we have are actually a great combination. So everybody brings their own skill set.
Deborah's going to make a comment about
Todd.
She wants to pile in on Todd here too. So
We love Todd. But Rod, I also want to bring up that as a volunteer member of our board of directors, we have a fabulous board, and we're always looking for more people at the committee level that could come in, and if you're interested in programs or governance of any kind, financial expertise, to come into our finance committee, fund development, and get to work with Todd every week. So there's something for people that want a range. Hands-on working with the people we serve, hands-on working with our board members on a committee level, and there's just a myriad of different.
Well, and I think that's an important one too to point out, because I think there's a misnomer sometimes with people who have not volunteered or been involved in nonprofits or efforts of this nature. Is there's a worry that if I basically start down this path, there's no end to it. That the demand is so much that I'm basically now going to get sucked in and it's going to take over my life. And to your point there, because this is real. I mean, I've been on enough boards that this happens, and people are hesitant to be part of something like this because it's never ending. That's it. Once I'm in, so it's like once they get me in, I can never get out. Like the old quote from, was it The Godfather, Todd? I think.
Yeah, The Godfather.
Oh, you
Anyway,
back in.
Yeah, every time I try to leave, they pull me back in. So to Deborah's point, there's a lot of levels of involvement. You can be involved on a task that has a timestamp and a timeline. Like, for example, the walk, you could basically work towards the walk in October. It would be a limited, probably, involvement. You could be very focused. And then October comes, you're done. Thank you very much for your assistance. And you get on with something else. Try it out. It's a great way to try out being involved with an organization. And then you'll find out that if it is something that really resonates with you, and it's a way for you to basically give back, which I think as we get older, we all look for even more ways of leaving a legacy of that kind. You may find yourself
a good example, Rod, is my book club took over our silent auction for the walk one year, and they procured all of the things that we auctioned off. They set up the tables, they put out the things, they monitored it. the silent auction was the book clubs.
Right.
And that's what we can do is we can carve things out to meet each group or person's needs that are just specifically to them.
Well, and like
people
in
have
the case
ideas
in the
that
case
we
of
haven't
Jen,
even
like
thought of.
yeah, and like in the case of Jen, like maybe at first glance, like her reaction when Paul mentioned it is, well, I don't know what I would bring to the table for this because it's so different from what I've done for 30 years. And maybe having that conversation then lends itself to finding out what skills are actually transferable that actually could be very meaningful to an organization like us, where you don't think you have value to bring. Well, we're in the business of finding value, right? So definitely have the conversation. Reach out to us at proindependence.org. Like I said, great people, great group of people to even know and connect with. And we are out there doing some essential work. So community as well, reach out to us, partner with us. There's always a way for us to make this fun and positive and far reaching. I know we're running out of time here, so I want to just thank both of you guys for being on. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on. It's one more opportunity for me to see you guys this month.
Come back again. Tell us what's happening and how it's growing and evolving in this next normal.
Yeah, always an open door for anybody from you guys to come over, and we're always doing some exciting stuff. So we'll probably have you on again.
Thank you very much. Good to see you, Paul.
Well, and
give Jan a hug for me tonight. I don't get to give staff hugs anymore. So.
I will. It's hard. I'm 6'4", she's 5'2".
I'm impressed. This is the next normal. We, just because we're limited to Zoom doesn't mean I can actually send you a hug. Hey, you know what, Paul? Hug her for me too.
Todd, should I throw you in on the mess? Everybody give 3 hugs here.
3 hugs.
Hugs all around.
I'm gonna hug you guys because really, you don't realize not only has she helped. Yes, you need people to help you do the work too, not just volunteer, but to actually come in and day out and show up and do the work. And you don't pay a lot. I get it, and it's hard to get people to do that work, particularly here in Orange County. But I'm going to tell you, there is a population of people like Jan who are sitting at home, feeling unwanted after years of working, who are looking for passion and purpose, who only need to make a little bit they'd like to make a little bit of money. They could use none of us saved enough to prepare for this 30-year exodus.
Compensation for value. I mean, I think it's only fair.
But I think that the idea is there is a group of people who are sitting at home alone, wondering what to do with their life, that can find purpose and passion, make a little, change a lot. Help a lot. That's the message. And I want to thank you for what you've done.
How old was Jan when she faced
I didn't think she'd admit it on the air, but she was 69. She turned 70.
So on average, that you're looking, if you're in that age bracket, you're looking at like 20 years of purposeful living. I mean, at least, right? So, that's about.
And otherwise, she's like your clients. What would your clients do but for you? They would be home. They'd be in an institution. They'd be in a somewhere, somebody taking care of them, or nobody taking care of them. I think there's too many people among us aging baby boomers, us aging seniors, who fit that same category.
Well, I think there's also something, since we're on that, and then I know we have to go. We can, just like the volunteers, we can customize the employees as well. So if somebody says, I only have 10, maybe 20 hours a week, we'll make it work.
Right.
And really, we are so flexible, and we can fit you in where.
And that's what you did for Jen. She watches her grandkids 2 days a week, and she works for you guys 3 days a week. And it's a perfect blend. It gives her enough to do to make her feel purposeful. It brings in a little money, which doesn't hurt, and at the same time gives her some feeling of value other than just standing around at a hospital saying, what do you want me to change a bedpan again here? I'm one of the 500. My father went through that late in life. He was a corporate executive. He went down to the local hospital in Palm Springs of Eisenhower. He said it was horrible. 45,000 old retired guys trying to change a bedpan. He said, that didn't make me feel good. And it was busy work. So too often, there's nothing of substance for people to do past a certain point. You guys have given them a purpose and passion.
We live in a society that unfortunately is very disposable driven.
Yeah.
And that sometimes, unfortunately,
throw your clients away, throw seniors away. Yeah.
Also goes towards people. And I think the truth is that everybody has some value to bring to the table.
That's what you've shown. That's what you've proven.
That's the show, right? I mean, that's one of those things that, if anything, we leave in on is that everybody has something to offer. We can help maybe channel that as appropriate as it could be by being involved with Project Independence. And there's a lot of need. COVID, let's leave us with this. coming out of, we're all thinking, okay, it's going to be all rosy. Challenges. COVID basically accelerated a lot. It didn't necessarily maybe cause it, and those reasons are not there anymore. They're still there. I mean, when we come out of, we're still going to have challenges. It's not going to all be rosy and be hung.
No, yeah.
And we're going to have to continue to reinvent, to pivot, to look for ways of doing things differently. We can continue basically deliver a mission that is very important, like the one that Project Independence does.
And COVID, to go one more second, COVID has been a tale of two cities, to quote Charles Dickens. There are people who've done very well. Businesses, online business, I'm sorry to say mine too, that have expanded and grown during this period of time. Everybody's looking to do Netflix and Zoom and online conferences and podcasts and all the things that we do. But there's a huge group of people been left behind. The people who were working 3 jobs that only are down to 1 now because they got laid off. The people like your clients that nobody thought of employing ever before. The people like my wife who people said, you're done. Well, there is no employment for you anymore here. There is no purpose and stuff for you. There's an awful lot of people out there struggling financially, mentally, physically,
emotionally. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so find purpose. More about Project at proindependence.org. Thank you, Paul, again for letting us run over.
Thank you for all you guys do, really.
Thank you guys for being on. Love you guys both. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Raad Life radio show with your host and age explorer, Raad Gantos, brought to you on the one and only octalkradio.net. Join us again next week as we continue our journey of discovery into life's challenges, opportunities, options, and all the latest and greatest things that come with getting older.